what he was doing. It was weird. It was weird to see that type of fighting. But anywho, that's not Jake Paul's fault. So Jake Paul did what he needed to do, and he won, and he looked good.
Jake Paul looked really good. I think he won all the rounds. I mean, it's good for boxing. I think he deserves a chance to fight for a world title.
Jake Paul did get fatigued down the stretch, but he still held.
Jake Paul's win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. sparked a wave of mixed reactions across the boxing world. Ryan Garcia was quick to post on social media, applauding Jake for outboxing Chavez Jr. and doing his thing. Meanwhile, Shane Mosley, a boxing legend, gave high marks to Jake's movement and strategy during the bout but didn't hold back when criticizing Chavez Jr., calling his approach bizarre and even suggesting it might be time for him to walk away from the sport. Across the board, fans and analysts noted Jake's noticeable improvement while voicing concerns over Julio's performance and overall effort in what many now call a career-defining low.
Jake Paul fought a great fight. You know, he moved around the way he's supposed to, throwing great punches, and for the experience he had, he did fantastic. Junior, on the other hand, he didn't throw any punches until the third or fourth round or something. He was just kind of walking forward, and I don't know what he was doing. It was weird. It was weird to see that type of fighting. But anywho, that's not Jake Paul's fault. So Jake Paul did what he needed to do, and he won, and he looked good.
Where do you think Junior goes from here, in your opinion, Shane?
Junior needs to retire from here.
Junior needs to retire.
He needs to retire. I mean, if you can't throw any punches in 2, 3, 4 rounds, you need to retire. I mean, if you can, what are you doing? What are we doing? You just living up. Basically, you're living off your father's name. Yeah. That's basically what you do because you didn't even fight until the last round, maybe last 2 rounds, and threw some punches, and you had some success when you threw some punches.
Piers Morgan didn't mince words, calling the event a boring, staged farce and claiming Jake Paul is damaging boxing by fighting washed-up veterans. He even joked that his own scuffle with Jake was more entertaining. But not everyone agreed. Rising fighter Rayo Valenzuela had a very different take. After watching Jake dominate Chavez Jr., Rayo praised Jake's focus and execution, even saying Paul belongs among the top 15 to 20 fighters in his division. That kind of endorsement from someone within the professional ranks signals a major shift. Jake Paul isn't just a celebrity stepping into the ring, he's forcing the boxing world to take him seriously.
Oh, great fight. Julio's back after all he's been through, so, I tip my hat off to him. It's not easy, especially through, what life throws at you sometimes, but, it was a good fight.
What'd you make of how Jake Paul looked and fought?
He's doing his thing. Jake Paul's looking good. Shout out to him. Yeah.
Do you think he's ready to, fight, maybe a top 15, top 20?
Sure, yeah.
So I guess where does Junior go from here, in your opinion?
It's up to him. He can retire if he wants, or he can have another, fight like this. Fight a YouTuber or something. Yeah.
Jose Benavidez Sr., father and trainer of world-class boxer David Benavidez, was thoroughly impressed by Jake Paul's performance. After watching Jake handle Chavez Jr. with poise and control, Benavidez Sr. even floated the idea of a potential future bout between Jake and his own son. More importantly, he stated that Jake has now earned the right to contend for a world title. Coming from someone who's trained elite-level talent, that's not just flattery, that's a powerful endorsement that Jake Paul has crossed the line from spectacle to contender.
I think Jake Paul looked really good. I think he won all the rounds. I mean, it's good for boxing. I think he deserves a chance to fight for a world title. He proved it today with the ex-world champion, Julio Cesar Chavez, that, he dominated and he did really good.
What did you think of Chavez's performance? Early on, he didn't throw a lot, and then towards the end, he had some moments. Were you disappointed in Chavez?
Well, I thought, he was going to try to get Jake Paul a little tired. He was blocking and taking all his shots, but I think he just got tired, and couldn't execute it. So Jake Paul did a great job.
Respected commentator Showbiz the Adult added depth to the discussion by highlighting Jake's technical growth in the ring. While many fans still cling to the image of Jake as a YouTuber chasing attention, Showbiz argued that his discipline, timing, and in-ring intelligence are impossible to ignore. He He pointed out that Jake has developed genuine skills that elevate him beyond mere hype. In Showbiz's words, Jake is proving himself not just as a boxer, but as a student of the game who understands how to win.
Looked at Jake, I was saying thank you, Jake. Yep, I was saying thank you, Jake. A lot. The thing is, not to say that because he beat a 6-year-old Mike Tyson that, you know, that impressed me with. What I'm saying is, you couldn't really see everything that Jake possessed in that fight. He has gotten way better. I saw him training, and I'm like, the guy is good. He messed around and got good. You don't like Zurdo fight? Zurdo looked. I mean, that was one of the best I've seen, but the best times I've seen him. No, Zurdo won this clear to me. Don't forget that was a point deduction. 115, 113. I mean, 113, 112. 117, 110. Yeah, it was clearly Zurdo. Yeah, it was clearly Zurdo, bro. I mean, Zurdo was making a miss, and I mean, Zurdo was really, I was impressed by his defense.
Ringside reactions said it all. From the opening bell, Jake Paul dictated the pace, keeping Chavez Jr. on the back foot. Viral clips from the event show Chavez Jr. barely throwing meaningful punches, while Jake maintained control with sharp jabs, fluid footwork, and relentless energy. Observers noted how Jake didn't just overpower Chavez physically, he outthought him, stayed composed, and followed a clear game plan from start to finish. The fight was less about brute force and more about mental domination, and Jake delivered on both fronts.
Paul has defeated Chavez Jr., right? This fight, Chavez got active in them last 3 rounds and he really showed his power. But throughout most of the fight and throughout those first 5 or 6 rounds, right, most of us were saying, is Chavez here to fight or not? Because he was not throwing very much at all. And then you thought maybe the strategy is let Jake Paul get tired because he's not used to going 10 rounds, and then maybe in those last couple rounds you could get him. But Jake Paul did get fatigued down the stretch, but he still held on. He looked well even in the final 3 rounds when Chavez was pouring it on enough to get over the top. I'd say it's impressive considering Chavez Jr. is a former champion. For Jake Paul, probably gonna get a title shot soon. My question to y'all is, what did y'all think of the fight? When Chavez first came out, man, I'm like, he's not throwing. Jake Paul looked really active. I go, when is Chavez going to throw? Then Chavez began to throw, and you thought maybe the strategy is let Jake Paul get tired and then try to beat him down the stretch, right? Which I think that was the strategy. But Paul proven to hang on, and Chavez goes down in this one. So guys, what do y'all think about the fight? What do you think about Jake Paul's performance, and can he get a title shot?
At the post-fight press conference, Jake Paul was composed and confident. He thanked Julio for the fight and praised the warrior spirit of Mexican fighters, but also took a moment to call out his critics. Actions speak louder than words, he said, addressing those who questioned his chin and toughness. For Jake, this wasn't just a victory in the ring, it was personal. It was proof that his growth is legitimate, that his discipline is real, and that he's not just a viral sensation chasing likes. He left the arena with more than a win, he left with validation.
It's between you and Cesar Chavez Jr. tonight. Now, in round 9, the heat really turned up. Did you feel the Mexican power that he promised, or do you feel like he didn't perform the way you thought that he would?
No, yeah, he brought a hard fight there at the end, and that's that Mexican warrior style. I don't know how he was eating all those punches, to be honest. My hands low-key hurt from his face, and so respect to him. He had good cardio, and he came on strong at the end. He's a very, very strong guy, had a lot of power, but people underestimate my chin and my ability and my toughness.
Jake, Jonathan Agger of Pro Boxing Fans. During the week, you had a viral interview with Piers Morgan where he said that he didn't think that you would beat Chavez. He felt like when you fight a former world champion, you'll come unstuck. What did you prove to not only him but other people that have criticised you?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words, so people can sit behind their desks and sit on their TV shows and say a lot of things about my career, but everyone's tuning in, everyone's watching, and I just continue to win.
And you mentioned Anthony Joshua. Does it end there? Would you want to bring Tyson Fury out of retirement?
Man, there's too many people for me to fight. I need more time. At the end of the day, that's the only thing I can't do is create more time. So we'll see what happens.
Jake Paul's dominant win forced skeptics like Piers Morgan to eat their words. Piers had previously dismissed Jake's boxing journey, arguing that it was all theater and no substance. But Jake proved otherwise. Throughout training camp, he stayed laser-focused, insisted that performance, not reputation, would define him, and then followed through with a clinical victory. His composure, strategy, and fitness were undeniable. This wasn't just a PR stunt, it was a legitimate win that silenced critics and confirmed Jake's place in the boxing conversation.
YouTube this, YouTube that, Disney that. This shit is not a joke. I'm knocking out the best of the best, beating all of these people time in and time again. And it's about time that you old heads and all these fucking boxers who think they know about the sport put some respect on my name.
Yeah, but you're not going to get... Look, you're going to make a ton of money. Listen, I think as a businessman, you are brilliant, right? I give you full credit for that. When you took on Mike Tyson as a business enterprise, there's no argument. You absolutely crushed the numbers, crushed the money, and everything else. But the idea that you can say, on the one hand, I'm a killer, I get in the ring with the best people, and you get in the ring with a guy who's 50, he's literally nearly as old as me.
I'm not talking about Mike Tyson. I'm talking about Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, champions in their sport, Golden Gloves champions, Ryan Borland, Andre August, undefeated fighters. The list goes
but what
on
great
and on.
boxer have you been in the ring with?
Former world champion on Saturday, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., son of the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, besides me, of course. Like, I don't know what you guys want to see. I tried to fight Canelo. He ducked out of it. You asked him about that. You said he's going to kill me. So what do you want? You're laughing when you say, oh, Jake is going to fight Canelo. I think you would kill him. But then you're like, oh, you're not fighting this guy. You're the problem here with this whole situation and criticism of my career. I'm trying to fight the best people, and that's why Chavez is here on Saturday. I want Canelo. I want Anthony Joshua. I want all these people. It's been 5 years in this sport.
But the problem is, the only proper boxer you fought was Tommy Fury, and he beat you. And he's not even the best. He's not even the best fighter in his family.
Golden Gloves champion Andre August, Brian Borland as well. Anderson Silva was an undefeated boxer. I mean, you can sit there and make up shit, but you actually don't know your facts. I fought multiple boxers with professional records, and including Mike Tyson himself, who I think is going to be a harder fight than Chavez.
Boxing analyst Tony Jeffries praised Jake for taking the sport seriously. He pointed to Jake's decision to surround himself with elite trainers, nutritionists, and top-tier facilities. According to Jeffries, that level of professionalism isn't common, even among rising prospects. Jake's discipline, combined with his ability to invest in the right environment, has created a foundation for rapid growth. In Jeffries' eyes, the fight against Chavez Jr. proved that Jake isn't just chasing money, he's building a legacy based on commitment and results.
One huge advantage of having money is he can hire the best team in the world. He can have the best things possible. Like, he's got a hyperbaric chamber in his home, but he's got the best kind of chamber. This is helping him with recovery. Normal fighters can't afford to do this. So because of this, he's got that advantage. Now you might be thinking, well, him getting in a hyperbaric chamber for recovery is not going to help him be a better boxer. Well, my friend, let me tell you, it is. And the reason why it is, if you think you've done a hard boxing training session and you've got another one the next day because fighters train like once, twice, even 3 times a day, you're going to recover faster. If you recover faster, what happens? You perform better on the next session. So let's just say an average boxer is progressing like this because they're not recovering properly. Jake Paul is recovering and progressing like this. We've seen how fast he has progressed, whether you like him or not. He's come from 0 boxing experience to where he's at now. Now you might be saying, well, Tony, he's fighting an old man. Oh, mate. Just look at who Floyd Mayweather fought on his 6th fight, and look at who Jake fought on his 6th fight, and Just see here, the comparisons right there. Now back to the money. Having that money, he's doing hyperbaric chambers. He's got the best sports scientists, the best trainers around. And if I was still fighting right now and I couldn't afford what Jake's got, what I would be doing is watching what he's doing. Now you might think that is absolutely crazy. Why would I want to watch Jake Paul? Well, because like I said, he's got the best equipment, he's got the best trainers, he's got the best team that money can buy. If you can take snippets of that for in your training, you know, he's doing something right.
Confidence radiated from Jake Paul long before the opening bell. He predicted victory in every interview leading up to the bout and backed up his words with actions. Insiders from Jake's camp reported a laser-focused training camp with no distractions, no media games, just hard work. That effort translated into a dominant win over a seasoned opponent. With this victory, Jake's bold pre-fight talk no longer sounds like hype, it now echoes like a mission statement from a man shaping his own boxing destiny.
It's not going to be me, but I'm training harder than ever. I know this is my toughest opponent yet. Maybe not the biggest name opponent yet, but it's still going to be a super, super good fight. So make sure everyone pull up Anaheim, California, Ticketmaster.com. Be there, baby.
I was going to say that, you know, do you think this is the toughest opponent? Obviously, he's still a guy who was, you know, he's not all that old. He's got a ton of fights. He's got, I think, 61 pro fights. Think this is the toughest challenge for you if you take everything into consideration?
Yeah, taking everything into consideration and how hard he's training behind the scenes, people saying that this is the most serious he's ever taken a fight, and the fact that he's a former world champion, 30-something knockouts, and I think he wants to put Mexico on his back and represent, and he doesn't want to lose to a guy like me because he knows that's going to hurt his legacy that he's built for himself.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jake, you see video of him, it looks like he's training hard. I think if there's one criticism, obviously, as you know, of his that people have always said is that, hey, he doesn't train hard, doesn't work as hard as he should, but he's a guy with a lot of talent. But if he is working hard and he does still have that talent, obviously, that could make for a dangerous opponent, couldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I bring out of my opponents. You know, even when I fly sparring partners in, they go harder than they normally do with other guys because they want to prove a point because it's me. They don't want to get beat up by a guy who's only been doing this for 5 years or so. So they always bring their A game, and that's why I'm always at my best as well because I have to bring my A game every time.
Youth was a defining factor in this fight. Jake entered the ring with sharpness, explosive conditioning, and relentless drive. In contrast, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. appeared sluggish and off rhythm, weighed down by years of inactivity and outside-the-ring struggles. Though Chavez had experience on his side, it was no match for Jake's hunger. Every exchange showed Jake was the fresher, more determined fighter. In the end, Jake's energy and preparation made all the difference, proving that dedication and discipline can overcome experience.
Answer he can. He's like, yeah, every fight's different. He's young, so he has a lot of energy. I think that, you know, Jake also has a lot of power. Chavez Jr. has never seen. Again, he's moving up, I don't know how many weight classes from middleweight. Probably never fought a guy that hits as hard as Jake does. Not to say that Jake's, you know, exorbitantly powerful or anything like that. He may be, but it's just he's a cruiserweight. Chavez Jr.'s fought, I think, once at cruiserweight, maybe twice now. Jake's youth is a massive factor for him. Chavez Jr. is 39. He's not, you know, 50 or whatever, but got a lot of boxing miles on him, has some, obviously, outside of the ring substance issues, been out of the ring and on and off for the last however long, has taken massive breaks, so all that's going to factor in.
Leading up to the bout, skeptics viewed this fight as another sideshow, just Jake Paul taking on another name from boxing's past. Most picked Julio to win, expecting the hype train to derail. But Jake flipped the narrative. He trained with discipline, focused on strategy, and executed the plan to perfection. This wasn't just another win, it was a statement. Jake Paul showed he belongs in real boxing discussions, and the people who doubted him are now left re-evaluating everything they thought they knew.
Breaking news, Jake Paul is going to be taking on former world champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in a fight that I think is going to fool a lot of people. And what do I mean by fool a lot of people? What I mean is people are going to, on paper, look at this and be like, oh, Jake Paul gets schooled here, gets schooled here. Chavez Jr. is 39. He was not known as a very disciplined boxer during his prime. That's one of the reasons he had such a heavy decline. He's also a lot smaller than Jake Paul. What I will say about Jake Paul is he is a genius, or his team and management are geniuses at giving him opponents that people on paper look at and be like, oh, Jake Paul's not a real fighter, he won't be able to beat this guy. This is very, 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 very minimal risk for Jake Paul. The only factor that could come into play here is if Chavez Jr. decides he actually wants to show up properly for this fight, conditioned, and use his experience to win. But Jake Paul, for me, and his team have been very, very careful about who they matchmake him against ever since the Tommy Fury fight. You know, ever since here, we haven't seen him in there with someone his own age, his own weight, and his own sort of experience. For me, if Jake Paul wants to be a YouTube boxer still, and he wants to be considered an influencer boxer, matchmaking him against these guys that on paper, oh, this is a big challenge for Jake Paul, in reality not really, is okay. But I think if Jake Paul actually is what he says he wants to be, and he wants to make that step up, man, he's going to have to take risks.
And that's all for today's video. Whether you're a fan or a critic, one thing's clear, Jake Paul isn't just making noise, he's making progress. Stay tuned, because the next chapter in his journey could be the biggest one yet.